Zay in the house. Welcome to the Nerdverse. What happens when someone is not born a hero, does not choose to be a villain, but ends up becoming something far greater than both? The story of the Scarlet Witch does not begin with a conscious choice, nor with a call to greatness. It begins with loss, trauma, and fear. And perhaps that is exactly why Wanda Maximoff is one of the most complex, tragic, and powerful characters in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. To understand who the Scarlet Witch truly is, we need to go back long before magic, before prophecies, and even before the Avengers. We need to return to Wanda grows up in a small, forgotten country, scarred by war and political instability, a place where explosions are part of everyday life and hope is fragile. From a young age, Wanda learns that the world is not safe. She and her twin brother, Pietro, grow up surrounded by sirens, bombings, and constant fear. But everything changes irreversibly on the night a missile strikes their family's apartment. Their parents are killed instantly. A second missile lands nearby, but it does not explode. 4 days, Wanda and Pietro are trapped beneath the rubble, staring at that bomb, waiting for it to detonate at any moment. Etched into the metal is the name Stark Industries. That bomb does not kill Wanda physically, but it destroys any chance she had at a normal childhood. That is where the hatred is born. Not only toward Tony Stark, but toward everything that represents power exercised without responsibility. That is where fear is born. And without Wanda having any awareness of it, that is also where the first sign of her true power emerges. Because that bomb never explodes. Something impossible happens. And chaos silently responds to a child's pain. Years later, that resentment leads Wanda and Pietro to Hydra. Without family, without a future, and consumed by anger, they volunteer for the experiments with the scepter that houses the Mind Stone. Most people die. Wanda survives. And more than that, she reacts to the stone. For a long time, it was believed that Wanda's powers were created there, but that was never the full truth. The Mind Stone does not create Wanda's power. It awakens something that already existed. While other bodies reject that energy, Wanda responds to it. The stone does not transform her. It merely opens the door. When Wanda appears in Age of Ultron, her powers seem, at first glance, relatively simple: telekinesis, mind manipulation, illusions. But there is something strange about how those powers manifest. They are unstable, emotional, unpredictable. Nothing fails around Wanda by accident. Weapons jam, machines break, probabilities bend. Without realizing it, Wanda is already manipulating the improbable. Chaos, in its purest form, is already present. She does not act out of pleasure. She acts out of vengeance. She invades the minds of the Avengers and forces them to confront their greatest fears. Tony sees the future, he fears creating. Steve relives a past he cannot reclaim. Thor witnesses the collapse of the world. Wanda does not fight with brute force alone. She fights using trauma. But when Ultron reveals his true intentions, Wanda realizes she helped create something far worse. Once again, she must choose a side. She joins the Avengers, fights to save Sokovia, and in the process loses Pietro. Her brother dies, saving someone else. Another loss, another piece of her identity torn away. From that point on, Wanda tries to be a hero, but the world never allows her to be just a person. In Civil War, an accident in Lagos changes everything. The explosion was not intentional, but the consequences fall almost entirely on her. Wanda begins to be seen as a dangerous weapon. The world starts to fear her, and she begins to see herself the same way. The guilt builds, silent, heavy. It is in this context that Vision becomes a point of balance. He is not afraid of her. He does not try to control her. He does not treat her like a problem to be solved. With him, Wanda finds something rare: acceptance, peace, a safe place, perhaps the only one she has ever known. They build a relationship based on empathy, silence, and understanding. For the first time since Sokovia, Wanda believes she might have a future, but in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, happiness is almost never permanent. In Infinity War, Wanda is faced with the cruelest decision imaginable: killing the person she loves to save the universe. She destroys the Mind Stone and kills Vision with her own hands, an absolute sacrifice. But even that is not enough. Thanos rewinds time, undoes her choice, and kills Vision again, right in front of her. Wanda watches the same person die twice. That moment does not just traumatize Wanda, it breaks something inside her permanently. She does not lose only the love of her life. She loses any illusion that sacrifice is always worth it. When Wanda returns after the blip, the world has moved on. But for her, everything stopped in that moment, and then Westview happens. WandaVision does not begin as a villainous plan. It begins as an emotional collapse. Wanda arrives in the town where she and Vision dreamed of living together and simply cannot endure reality. And when Wanda breaks, her magic does what it has always done. It bends reality to protect her from pain. Westview is an escape, a world where no one dies, where she has a family, where Tom obeys her emotions, a world created not out of cruelty, but out of desperation. But every reality shaped by chaos demands a price. People lose their free will. They suffer in silence. Wanda refuses to see this, because accepting it would mean facing loss all over again. That is when Agatha Harkness reveals the truth that changes everything. Wanda is not just a powerful witch. She is the Scarlet Witch, a prophesied entity, a being capable of wielding chaos magic in its rawest form. Unlike other sorcerers, Wanda does not need spells. Reality simply bends to her will. According to the Darkhold, the Scarlet Witch can rewrite existence, create life, and destroy the multiverse. Not because she is evil, but because her power exists beyond human concepts of good and evil. She is not just a person. She is a living imbalance. At the end of WandaVision, Wanda isolates herself, studying the Darkhold, hearing voices that echo across realities. She crosses boundaries she never would have crossed before, driven by a pain that never healed. In Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda makes it clear she is no longer asking for permission. She wants her children, and the entire multiverse becomes nothing more than an obstacle. In her mind, she is not a villain. She believes the end justifies the means. She kills, she threatens entire universes. She becomes exactly what she always feared becoming. But even at the lowest point, there is still awareness. When Wanda sees the fear in her children's eyes, she understands what she has become, and she makes her final choice. She destroys the Darkhold in every universe. She sacrifices herself to prevent that knowledge from continuing to corrupt reality. She falls beneath a mountain. Does she die? Maybe, but in the MCU, stories rarely end so simply. The multiverse exists, variants exist, and the Scarlet Witch is not just a person. She is a concept, Forci, an archetype of pain and absolute power. If Wanda returns, it will not be as she was before. Not as a pure hero, nor as a declared villain. It will be as someone trying to exist under the weight of her own choices. And now, I want to hear from you. Does the Scarlet Witch deserve redemption? Or are her actions unforgivable? Do you believe Wanda will return to the MCU? Leave your opinion in the comments, because this debate says as much about her as it does about us. If you enjoyed the video, like it, share it with other Marvel fans, and subscribe to the channel because there's still a lot of story left to discuss. Wanda Maximoff's story was never about destroying the world. It was about someone desperately trying not to feel pain.